All right, everyone, welcome to the first episode of Fireside Chirps, the new weekly podcast from New Jersey Audubon's Government Relations Department. We're here to bring you what's happening in our department, whether that's federal or state policy, diversity, equity, inclusion, or any of the other fantastic things that we work on as a department. Today we have three folks from our department on, and we're going to go through with introductions. So say your name, your title, and your favorite bird.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Sandra Miola. I'm the director of the Coalition for the Delaware River Watershed at New Jersey Audubon's Government Relations Department. And my favorite bird is the double-crested cormorant because it was one of the first birds I was able to identify. And they're kind of cool. You know, to me, they're really interesting because you can see them throughout New Jersey, particularly throughout waterways. I see them a lot when I go hiking at Cheesequake State Park, and they love marinas. So yeah, they're really fascinating. They can dive, underwater to try to get fish, and they can hold their breath for a few minutes, which is really cool. So that's my favorite bird.
And I'm Drew Tompkins. I'm the Director of Policy at New Jersey Audubon, so I handle a lot of our state and federal policy and direct interaction with legislators. And my favorite bird is whatever bird that my cat is looking at out the window whenever he makes that super cute noise, to try to get them, whether that be mourning dove, or we have a bunch of house sparrows and finches and the like out on my patio. So those are my favorite. And no, I'm not going to make the noise for people because it sounds ridiculous when I tried to do it, and I don't feel like doing that right now.
And my name is Olivia Warren. I'm the engagement coordinator with the Coalition for the Delaware River Watershed, along with Sandra. And my favorite bird is the turkey vulture. I find them cute and endearing in a gross, ugly way.
All right. Yeah, thanks so much, Olivia. So this week we're going to start out, because we had the whole introduction of the podcast, start out relatively light and just give you a brief update on what is happening in New Jersey. Today, the governor announced that he announced his 6 principles for reopening the state. And basically, it's pretty straightforward. We want to see reductions in the number of people who have COVID-19, as well as reductions in hospitalizations, and of course, hopefully reductions in fatalities, as well as increased testing. I listened to his briefing today, and he said that he'd like to see double testing of what we currently have, which would take us up to about 20,000 tests a day, somewhere between 18 and 20,000 tests a day. And he said he expects that by the end of May. Additionally, we want to see contact tracing. And then the other steps are more about reopening, so safe places for isolation for people who are identified to have the disease, as well as economic restart, and then resiliency for the state overall as we move forward, especially because of the chance of a second wave that we've all been hearing a lot about. Now, with all that said, and the fact that he did announce this today is a good sign, but there was no date attached to anything beyond saying that he expected to double testing, which is number 2 of his list here, by the end of May. So that gives you a little bit of a time frame, but nothing, set in stone yet is where we are at the state level.
So Drew, what do you think about in terms of what does this mean for county and state parks throughout the state that have been closed since Governor Murphy's executive order back a few weeks ago?
Yeah, so he got a couple of questions about this today during his press conference, and gave no definitive answers with regards to when he sees them opening. So there's no date on a reopening there, but I think it's all going to fit into this 6 principles that he has, especially 1 and 2, where you're going to see increased testing and reductions overall. The parks were closed, unfortunately, as much as we all love our state and county parks. They were closed because they were a hazard to both citizens who were attending them in much greater numbers than normally do, as well as the staff that were there. So, we've been saying, and we expect that they'll be reopened maybe on a rolling basis, maybe slowly, maybe before other things as well, since they were one of the last things to be closed. We kind of expect that it will go in reverse order as we reopen things, again, with no date in mind. But, they'll be done when it can be done safely for both residents as well as employees to be there. And of course, even when they do reopen, like you should be doing now all the time, it's going to be done with social distancing measures in mind. So staying 6 feet apart while walking or being out there, as well as wearing face coverings, etc. So yeah, I don't have any dates on that, but hopefully, it looks like over the next few weeks, these decisions are going to be made.
While state and county parks are closed, New Jersey's Audubon sanctuaries are still open for the vast majority of them. And New Jersey Audubon is getting very innovative and inventive in the way that we're continuing to bring programming to the public. Sandra, would you like to talk a little bit more about what New Jersey Audubon has been working on?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So typically New Jersey Audubon hosts an enormous event every spring called the World Series of Birding. It's essentially a competitive competition of folks that come down usually to Cape May. And unfortunately, due to the pandemic, with a silver lining, the World Series of Birding won't be held in person, but the education department within the organization especially has been working tremendously hard to put on a virtual World Series event this year. So check out Audubon's website for a chance to join a team or create a team. It should be really fun, and of course, following proper safety guidelines at this time. And I think Olivia has, the top runner right now in terms of who's in first place.
Yeah, so in terms of fundraising, the Fighting Femelschlagers is in first place with, at the time of recording, with $19,000 fundraised.
Nice. Yeah, so that's your competition, folks. So again, check out the website and hope to see you online and getting involved soon.
Yeah, and just to add to that, normally this is a New Jersey-based event. This year they have expanded it because it's going to be online up and down the Atlantic Flyway. So if you're in any other states, if you happen to be watching the New Jersey Audubon feed right now from a state outside of New Jersey, we encourage you to join as well.
All right, and to close, we're going to do our segment, What Are You Sharing with Your Coworkers in a Private Chat when that Zoom meeting's going on a little too long? Share how you're staying sane. So Sandra, do you want to share what you're doing in everyone's DMs?
Yes, so I've been sharing a lot with Kelly Knutson, who's our state policy manager, also works for the coalition, about what we've been watching to stay sane. I try to have boundaries and only watch, a certain number of hours of TV that I won't disclose here, but try to set boundaries. I've personally been loving Superstore on Hulu. Kelly told me about a High School Musical series on Disney Plus that he recommended, which is really, really funny. But outside of that, I've been trying to tell staff and colleagues throughout the coalition that, mental health and self-care should definitely be prioritized. I've been recommending my handy meditation book. It's called Journey to the Heart by Melanie Beattie. And every day for the 365 days a year, there's a guided meditation. So that's been really great, and just kind of giving a sense of balance and restorative sense to each day when everything feels really repetitive. Something else, so one of the fun things that I've been doing is trying to build things and create things. So this weekend, my fiance and I made cute little, made cute little like Lego ornaments, and we're anxiously awaiting our Jenga to be delivered to the apartment building. These are from Walmart, by the way, and it's just a fun kind of way to take your mind off stuff. And lastly, I think, throughout the pandemic, I think it's from the start of it, I think there's a lot of folks online and on social that have been saying like, oh, here's how you can be most productive as possible, and here's how to get in the best shape of your life during the pandemic. And yes, while it's really important to take care of yourself during the pandemic and always, it's also a really important time just to give yourself a break and give your body sometimes just what it needs and what it's craving at that particular moment, food or otherwise. So my guilty pleasure right now that I have no shame in are Cheez-Its. They're reduced fat, but they're still delicious. And I've been eating a lot of these because I really enjoy them. So my advice is do things you enjoy, eat things you enjoy, drink things you enjoy, and just try to stay, as optimistic and possible as and happy as possible through these challenging times, while also trying to have a little fun.
That's great. I love, you're telling people to indulge with the reduced fat snack. That
Was that stupid?
No, it's great. I love it. You can indulge with reduced fat snacks. That's exactly the way you should do it. So I love it. Yeah, and so that's all for this week. We will be back hopefully in your news feeds on Tuesdays. That's right, Olivia?
Yes, weekly
All right.
Tuesdays.
Weekly on Tuesdays. So check back in then.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
See you next time.